There are places on Earth that look so strange that it's difficult to believe you're still on the same planet. Some are hidden deep beneath the surface. Some are surrounded by dangerous waters. Others are so extreme that almost nothing can survive there. And some are places that humans are simply not supposed to enter. These aren't fictional locations. They are real places, shaped by nature, history, and forces that have been changing our planet for millions of years. Today, we're going to explore 10 places on Earth that don't feel real. And the last one is perhaps the strangest of them all. 10. North Sentinel Island. In the middle of the Bay of Bengal lies a small island that has remained almost completely isolated from modern civilization. It is called North Sentinel Island. The island is home to the Sentinelese, one of the few remaining indigenous peoples living with extremely limited contact with the outside world. Very little is known about their daily lives, because approaching the island is prohibited. The restrictions exist for an important reason. Contact with outsiders could expose the population to diseases against which they may have little or no immunity. The island is therefore protected from outside contact. From the air, it may look like a beautiful tropical island. Dense forests, clear water, perfect beaches. But beyond those beaches is a world that has remained largely separate from ours. And perhaps that's what makes it so fascinating. 9. Snake Island. Off the coast of Brazil lies an island with a reputation unlike almost anywhere else on Earth. Its name is Ilha da Queimada Grande, but it is better known as Snake Island. The island is home to the golden lancehead, a highly venomous species of pit viper found naturally on this island. Over thousands of years of isolation, the snakes evolved in an environment completely separated from mainland populations. Because of the danger and the need to protect the ecosystem, access to the island is heavily restricted. From a distance, it looks peaceful. Green vegetation, rocky cliffs, the ocean surrounding it. But beneath that vegetation is one of the most unusual ecosystems on the planet. A small island with a very dangerous secret. 8. Son Doong Cave. Deep inside Vietnam is a cave so enormous that it doesn't feel like a cave at all. It is called Son Doong. The cave is among the largest known cave passages on Earth. Inside, there are underground rivers, enormous chambers, clouds, and even vegetation growing where sunlight reaches through collapsed sections of the cave. In some areas, the ceiling is so high that the scale becomes difficult to understand. You could stand inside this underground world and still feel tiny. What makes Son Doong even more remarkable is that its environment can create its own weather patterns. Mist forms, clouds can appear, and water continues to move through the cave system. It is almost as if another world exists beneath the surface of Vietnam. 7. The Danakil Depression. In Ethiopia lies one of the hottest and most extreme environments on Earth, the Danakil Depression. The landscape is filled with bright yellow, orange, green, and red formations created by minerals and volcanic activity. There are extremely hot springs, acidic pools, salt formations, and gases emerging from beneath the ground. The colors can look almost artificial, but they are produced by chemistry and geology working together. This is a place where the Earth's interior becomes visible on the surface, and despite the extreme conditions, microorganisms have been found living in some of these harsh environments. Life, once again, manages to survive where we might expect nothing to exist. 6. The door to hell. In the middle of the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan is a massive crater that has been burning for decades. It is commonly known as the door to hell. The crater formed after the ground collapsed into an underground natural gas cavity. The gas was then ignited, and the flames continued burning. At night, the crater glows against the darkness of the desert. From a distance, it looks almost impossible. A huge opening in the earth, filled with fire. And perhaps the strangest part is the contrast. There is nothing around it, just desert, darkness, and a giant crater glowing in the middle of it. 5. The deep ocean. Now we leave the land behind and go somewhere humans have explored far less than most people realize. The deep ocean. As you descend beneath the surface, sunlight gradually disappears. The pressure increases dramatically. Temperatures can begin extremely low. And yet, life continues to exist. Some deep-sea animals produce their own light through bioluminescence. Others have enormous mouths, unusual bodies, or extremely sensitive organs adapted to an environment where almost no sunlight exists. And there is still an enormous amount of the deep ocean that remains poorly explored, which means that somewhere beneath the surface, there may still be species and ecosystems we have never seen. 4. Waitomo glowworm caves. In New Zealand, there is a cave where the ceiling appears to be covered with thousands of tiny stars. But these aren't stars. They're living organisms. The Waitomo glowworm caves are home to glowworms that produce light through bioluminescence. 3. Chernobyl. In 1986, one of the world's worst nuclear accidents occurred at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in what is now Ukraine. Large areas surrounding the plant were evacuated, buildings were abandoned, homes were left behind. And over the decades, nature began reclaiming many of these places. Trees grew through roads, plants spread across abandoned buildings, animals returned to areas that humans had left behind. But radiation remains a serious environmental concern in parts of the region. Chernobyl is therefore a strange combination of two things. Environment for these birds. So while the landscape may appear almost lifeless, it is actually supporting one of the world's most recognizable birds. It is a strange reminder that an environment that seems impossible to us can be perfectly suited to another species. 1. The most unexpected place. And finally, perhaps the strangest place isn't somewhere hidden underground, or on a distant island, or even beneath the ocean. It's somewhere that sun owns all of us. Antarctica. At first, Antarctica may simply look like an enormous frozen continent, but beneath its ice lies a hidden world. There are mountains, rivers, and enormous lakes trapped beneath kilometers of ice. Some of these environments have been isolated from the surface for incredibly long periods of time, and scientists are still trying to understand what exists within them. The deeper we look beneath Antarctica, the more complicated the continent becomes. What appears to be a frozen, empty landscape from above may contain an entire hidden environment, and that is perhaps the most fascinating thing about our planet. Sometimes, you don't need to travel to another world to find something completely alien. There are still places on Earth that we barely understand. Outrow Earth feels familiar because we see the same parts of it every day. But the planet is enormous, and much of it remains difficult to access. From isolated islands to underground ecosystems to the deepest parts of the ocean, there are still places that remind us how little we actually see of the world we live in. And perhaps the strangest thought of all is that somewhere on Earth right now, there may be another place even more extraordinary, waiting to be discovered.